나시시로 도왔습니다.
Hello everyone, welcome you back. Yes, Mr. Tomala, you can proceed the session. Yes.
Thank you. Hi everyone. So we will continue our teaching now. Thank you, Geshe.
Geshe is in mute.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome you back to this last session for today's this time teaching. What we have done from Heart Sutra is that how should the child of the lineage practice the professional wisdom, and what constitutes the all-encompassing emptiness, and what we see here, at the request of Shahala, Anavatapta Sutra, which I request Kunchab and Tinsley to share with us now. Screen sharing. Anavatapta is an extract from Anavatapta Sutra. This just one verse is on emptiness, and is a very powerful verse on emptiness. In Tibetan, this is Madhuvishivito, Madhuba, Madhuvishivito. So where in Tibetan it is Kanchir, in Tibetan, Kanchir Kene Keba Temake, Telekebe Ranshi Yomai, Ken Larale Kande Tombarshe, Kanshi Tongishe de Pai. This is the verse which is constantly being cited in relation to explaining what emptiness is. So what in English, Anavatapta Sutra, which said, what is produced through condition is unproduced. They do not have the nature of production. That what depends on conditions is said to be empty. Whoever realizes emptiness is conscientious. So what is said here is that what is produced through condition is unproduced. If you look at the world, sensible people, we see things that all good things that we have, they are produced from them and the causes and conditions. And the sensible people, of course, when even in the worldly, from the world point of view of the world, some people are more sensible, some people are less sensible. Some people are more mature in thinking, some people are less mature in thinking, even pertain to emptiness, even pertain to the worldly things, not exposed to philosophy at all, and just a simple family person, but a person more sensible, and some are less sensible. And some people, they can, I'm sure you all agree with me that, let's say that, okay, let's say that, for example, the COVID, somebody contracts the COVID from one person. And then you have the fever and so forth. If you don't know about COVID at all, you will just treat it the way you treat normal the flu. And yet it doesn't go away. it doesn't go away with these treatments, which means that the person fails to see what is more than how it is different from the normal flu. And then some people, they can see, oh, there's a different kind of this flu. There is a COVID flu, which is very dangerous. Some people can see more. And for example, I'm sure many of you have that experience. For example, to something of this kind, if you do have the experience, raise your hands. Say one time. This is oftentimes what happens to people. So from this, sometimes I get a feeling that on average, the people of the world, they're not really smart on average. They're very smart people, but average people are not too smart. Why I'm saying this is that so some people, they're sick. Doctors, they give up on some patients, and their mind is still very fresh. So sometimes when they meet me, then I will suggest, okay, now in any ways, the allopathic doctors, they already they give up on you. Now what you need to try, I will suggest one doctor. This doctor is very good. Dr. Damdul. I would recommend his name, Dr. Damdul. And then the person will say, okay, look, that person will say that, oh, what is that? Is that the allopathic doctor or a traditional doctor? I will say, this is a Tibetan doctor. Oh, yeah, we have a Tibetan doctor. So in our place, there's a Tibetan doctor. Yes, I go to see him. Then I would say that I am not recommending a Tibetan doctor. I'm recommending the Tibetan doctor. Okay, so this is so where people just, say they cannot really distinguish between what is gold and what is brass. Both look golden. Both look golden and the glowing. So if this is gold, then the other one's also gold. Brass is also gold. If the one is the brass, then the other gold is also seen as brass. This is how many people, they don't have that ability to distinguish things very sharply. Okay, so whereas some people are very naturally gifted with intelligence, so those people can see that what is produced through conditions. Yes, things arise from conditions. Say, if you don't want COVID, then try to put on use your mask. Go to the public area, don't go to the public area too much. And make sure that every day you build your immunity. You keep your body strong. And so the person takes all these precautions. And one time we were for almost like 1.5 years. And whereas some people are very impatient, and then in the middle of the COVID, when the lockdown is open a little bit, made relax a little bit, then they start to go for holidays. And then holidays, the party. Oh. And then when they come back, okay, we had a nice holiday on the phone, nice holiday. And then at one time, all the family members, they contacted COVID. The father is quarantined up there, mother's quarantined in one room, the son's quarantined in this place, daughter quarantined here, there. So this is being too naive. So the point is that a very sensible, who is even somebody who's not exposed to philosophy, that person can sense that good things come from their respective causes, bad things come from their respective causes. So stay away from the bad causes and go for the good causes. This is what the sensible, conventional, ordinary people does. So do what you see. What is produced through condition is not produced. It's not produced, meaning that this is what we can in a very generic form, we can understand it. What is produced through cause, the conditions is unproduced. It's not produced independently. It's not produced independently. It is produced through dependence on conditions. So this is a very generic understanding that we need to build up. Then to go more into detail. What we said earlier is that, for example, say this flower. Let's say this flower, in the eyes of the ultimate analysis, yes, there's the emptiness of flower. In the eyes of conventional analysis, there's a flower. It's just a perception. Now, in the eyes of the conventional analysis, there's a flower means the flower is not from the object, it's from the perception of the conventional analysis. How many of you would say that, yes, that's, that they, okay, that's all. But from what we have learned, this is to raise hands. When you say that flower exists in the eyes of the conventional analysis, means the flower is not from the object, it's from the perception of the object. Is how the mind perceives the flower from distance. Okay. To how many of you it makes sense? Raise hands. Good. Now when you say that, it says they do not have the nature of production, because that this flower comes into production by dependence on conditions. Conditions, in a loose sense, in a very in the conventional mundane sense, conditions such as the water, seed, and so forth. But more importantly, it is the mind. Even with the water and so forth, what we see as flower comes into being, but it's still, in the eyes of the ultimate analysis, it's just a bunch of atoms. There's no flower there. So flower makes sense only when it comes in contact with the conventional analysis. And the conventional analysis is a mind. It depends on the mind as a condition. It depends on other factors, water, and yes, of course, it depends on other factors, water, the manure, sunlight, the air, and so forth. But then another very important factor is the factor of the mind, conventional analysis. So for the ordinary people, they see this flower is dependent, it grows, is produced by depends on conditions such as water, manure, sunlight, air, and so forth, but not by dependence on the mind. Now, dependence on conditions. Conditions, they are what ordinary people can understand as a condition, very gross one, and what the more, say, the learned people can understand, that it is dependent not only on these external conditions, it also depends on the mind as a condition. Okay. Since that is coming from, it is dependent on the mind. What is mind? Subject to object. Is the subject. Because it's dependent on the subject, from the object, there's no production. They do not have the nature of production. Yeah. Okay, I'm asking. Okay, they do not have the nature of production. They do not have the nature of production from the object, because it said that it is dependent on the mind as the condition. The subject is subject real, is not from the object. They do not have the nature of production. Now, which means it's not existent. No, it's not non-existent. What depends on conditions, because it's coming from the condition, particularly the mind, subjectively, therefore it is empty from the object. What depends on condition is said to be empty. From the object, it is empty. So what it says here is that what is produced through the condition, through the condition, this is the dependent origination. What is produced by dependence on condition, dependent origination, that is unproduced independently. So dependent origination is posited, independent production is rejected. So rejection of the independent production, that is the ultimate truth. And dependent origination is the conventional truth. What is produced through condition, this is seen by the conventional analysis. So this is conventional truth. It's unproduced. It is unproduced objectively. Unproduced object. From the object, there's no production there. Absence of production of the object is the emptiness or the ultimate truth. They do not have the nature of production. So because of this, what we see as production is from the production per se, like the movie. Movies on the screen, you're watching a movie on the screen. we get a feeling that the movie is on the screen, but then the movie is actually coming from the projector. The moment the projector stops, the movie stops. Likewise, that from the screen, there's no, say, the basis for the movie at all. From the object, there's no basis for production. They do not have the nature of the production. Production per se, it does not have the nature of the production. Even this production is all coming from this subject. What depends on condition? What depends on condition, when you speak of the emptiness, it doesn't mean that nothing exists. Nothing exists. Everything's just your mind, just consciousness. No, they do exist. They exist by dependence on the conditions. Conditions here is the dependent factors. The factors dependent on which the things arise. What depends on condition is said to be empty. Okay, now from this what we learn is that from the object, there's nothing to identify it as a production. There's nothing to identify it as good, bad, and so forth. But good, bad, everything exists. How? Subjectively. So subjectively, everything operates infallibly. Infallibly, things operate. From the object, nothing really exists. And in fact, it is that non-existence there from the object? No, even the non-existence is also non-existent. Even the non-existent doesn't exist objectively. From the object, there's not even the non-existent. So it's for this reason that what is there from the object, that is described as the indescribable phenomena. What is from the object is described indescribable phenomena. That is the ultimate reality. Whosoever realizes emptiness, that reality, indescribable reality, is conscientious. Conscientious means somebody who is so aware what is bad, what is good, and how we need to engage in the good things and how to discard the bad things. Somebody who's aware, who has a conscience to what is to be adopted, what is to be discarded, and act accordingly. So this person who realizes emptiness will become a conscientious being. And so for this, we oftentimes talk about, okay, how many of you during your school days or during college days, perhaps school days is better. College days, I'm not too sure. Some people, college days is for them to, chill out days for some people. Yeah. Whereas the school is not a chill out days. Yeah. And yet school, when you have some schools are more relaxed in ways that there's no, say, the very rigid exams. Whereas in many schools, there's rigid exams. And the last year exam, they are very, very, there's a tremendous tension there in the minds of the students. So you prepare a timetable for yourself. You make your own timetable, right? Oh, morning of the 6 o'clock, I get up. Some people may say 8 o'clock, I get up, right? 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 2 hours study, 10 o'clock to 10:15, a tea break or the juice time, or the tea and snack, and 10:15 to again the 12, again studying, and 12 for the 30 minutes lunch, again then 12:30 to this. And how long does this timetable succeed? 1 day. And the 2 days you are very tired, second day. And third day, then you forgot the timetable. Okay, just raise hands, those who agree with you, who followed like this at least once in your lifetime. Okay, so what I'm saying is that this is where we are being very unrealistic. We do not know how your mind works. Finally, your mind is not like a machine. It's not like a mechanical machine. It's not like 2 + 3 = 4. The mind requires rest, food, and then some time to just digest, set. There are so many factors there, how the mind works. So with this, if you know how there's nothing independent there, even the mind is not like a mechanical, it also operates by dependence on various conditions. If you know that so well, then you know that the mind, how the mind operates. It is not independent, it is empty of true existence. When you know that, you know how the mind works so well. And this person where, let's say that you see emptiness, your fears dissolve. You see emptiness, then when the afflictions stop. When the afflictions stop, then your negative physical, verbal actions stop. And then the unnecessary agitation stop. Fear stop. This is one part. And then on the other side, seeing that sheer dependence on the conditions, but the condition of rendering service to others, your mind is filled with love and affection. As your mind is filled with love, the joy multiplies. This is what you're seeking. So knowing the emptiness, you see that the conditionality, things operating by dependent origination, it is so infallibly real. So then you respect the functionality so much, and because of which, finally, what do you want? You want happiness. You don't want miseries. So because of which, you become so conscientious to get rid of the factors, conditions, dependent on which our fears arise. You become so conscientious to embrace the factors dependent upon which your happiness arises. Okay, this is the meaning of whosoever realizes emptiness is conscientious. Okay, this is extremely important. And then, to what extent you appreciate this verse? This verse depends on to what extent is the depth of your understanding emptiness. The more you, the deeper you understand the emptiness, the more you appreciate the functionality of the world. The more you appreciate, say, the getting away from the afflictions, the negative thoughts, and to embrace the virtues, the more you become one of those. So that is the meaning of the somebody who is conscientious. Okay, this is so important. So having said this, we go to the Heart Sutra. Back to Heart Sutra. Okay. So let's say that now that we have already got some idea that finding what I want, even don't follow Heart Sutra if it has nothing to do with your getting rid of fears and to embrace happiness. Finally, there must be a purpose. Let's not forget it. Simply because let's say that let's say that what is that? The medicines for chemotherapy. Some of the medicines for chemotherapy, they're very expensive. Simply because they are extremely expensive doesn't mean that you have to get them. Even if they are so expensive, but if they are not relevant to you, just discard them. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Okay. Likewise, Heart Sutra, however precious it might be, but if it is not relevant to you, discard it. You don't have to do it. One time, I was in Singapore, and I was having meeting with people, individual meeting with people, individually. And there was a professor, and he asked me a very interesting question. He said, "You are a Buddhist?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Do you think that if you are born in a non-Buddhist family, do you think that you are still going to be Buddhist?" This was his question to me. Very direct question by a professor. And I told him that, wow, that's amazing. That's very true. I'm born as a Buddhist, meaning that I'm born in a Buddhist family, and then embrace Buddhism as a child. I did not know anything. Luckily, at the age of 20, I met with the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, where the philosophy, psychology, logic, all are being taught. And from this, I got, say, the opportunity to embrace Buddhism with your thinking, not out of your being born there. And his question is very profound. So what I'm saying is that my teacher, one of my teachers when I was in school, particularly when I was age 16 or 17 in school, when I was so infatuated with physics, and one of my teachers, meaning then he was a hermit. He passed away now. Venerable Lamrim Rinpoche, amazing, accomplished, great teacher. What happened was that some of seniors from the school, senior boys, they go to meet him and receive teachings from him. Some of seniors. And one day that I had my own questions, and I sent a message through one senior boy to ask if I can get a special meeting, one-on-one meeting with Lamrim Rinpoche. And Lamrim Rinpoche accepted. And this boy the senior boy must have introduced me to Lamrim Rinpoche as somebody who is young and good in physics, mathematics, and very inquisitive. This must have been the information that he must have passed to Lamrim Rinpoche. When I actually reached his hut, the hermitage, I could feel that Lamrim Rinpoche was a little tense, that this boy may be very sarcastic, maybe easily denigrating Buddhism, this boy came to challenge it. This was the kind of the atmosphere that, no, I did not come there to challenge Buddhism. But there's the boy who must have passed the information, my request to, he must have said that, he's very inquisitive, he would ask questions, he's good in mathematics, science. This must be the information that passed to him. Again, Mr. was a little tense, I could feel it. And then my questions are very genuine. And I asked his questions. And then Germshe relaxed that he did not come to challenge me. Relaxed. And then he said one thing. Look, he did not have any modern education. Let's not forget it. He did not have any modern education. And what he told me, even today, it resonates so vibrantly to my ears. He said, young boy, if you don't have suffering, you don't need Buddhism. This is amazing. If you don't have suffering, you don't need Buddhism. Even today, it simply reverberates in my ear so well. Saying that if you don't have suffering, you don't need Heart Sutra, right? You don't need Anavatapta Sutra. You don't need all these things if you don't have suffering. Okay, now from the study of the Heart Sutra, we come to know that suffering is like the sound of a clap. Two hands come together and the sound simply exploded. This sound, which is a metaphor for suffering, is because of the two factors. External factors, symbolized by one hand, and the internal factors, symbolized by the other hand. Then the sound of the miseries invariably explodes. This is how the miseries arise. How to stop the miseries? If you want to stop the miseries, stop the two hands. Although two hands per se, they are not the miseries, but to stop the two hands. Either you stop the two hands or you stop one of the hands. If not, if you cannot stop both hands. So if you stop one hand, then just with the one hand, however strong that is, no sound. Sound of the misery stops. So for this, okay, look at one hand symbolizing external factors. And external factors, number one, they're innumerable in number. Innumerable. We cannot get rid of all the external factors. Say problems occur one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. Okay, how many of you agree with me that yes, that's very true. Problems that are like the ripples on the ocean. Raise hands. One of the other, one of the other, one of the other. Okay, very complicated problems. Let's say you have a neighbor. You have a neighbor who always threw garbage next to your door. Oh, what a problem. It's, I keep my things so clean, the outside also so clean, and the neighbor throws garbage next to my door. What a problem. And you see that as well, this is the problem of the whole world. And one day you heard that your neighbor is going to be vacating the house. You're so happy. Imagine you are the person. You're the person whose neighbor always throws garbage next to your door. And you heard the news that your neighbor is going to be vacating this house. How happy you are. You are so happy, so like you are, what is that, cloud 9. You're in the cloud 9. Wow, it's amazing. What a good news, right? You wake up, there's such the delight in your being. You go to sleep, there's such a joy there. You take your food, drink coffee. Every moment there's such a joy for you. And then you're expecting a bodhisattva, the tenant coming, a bodhisattva tenant coming, right? Well, now the tenant is gone. I'm so pleased. Okay, now the bodhisattva, you're expecting a bodhisattva tenant coming. And the next occupant comes. Next occupant not only throws garbage next to your door, also plays a loud music on Sundays. Not Sundays, so the Saturdays for the Israelis. Loud music on the Saturday mornings, where there's only day you like to take extra 1 hour sleep. And that also disturbed. Then you miss your earlier neighbor. Although he throws garbage next to my door, but he's so kind. He lets me sleep very soundly. You miss your earlier neighbor. Okay, look, this is the external world. You cannot possibly stop all the external factors. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. But the good thing is that external factors, they're so innumerable in number. If you have them, there's a problem. If you don't have them, there's a problem. Then the internal factor, on the other hand, internal factor, just wake up. Stop the sleep. Internal factor of the sleep of the ignorance. Stop that. Your one hand is gone. Other hand, however strong, no sound. Sound of the misery stops. Okay, so, and this sound of the miseries, how does this stop? Sound of the mental defilements, how did they stop? Internal, how did they stop? They don't stop overnight. They stop in process. They stop in steps. So it says, this Heart Sutra continues reading, therefore, the mantra of the perfection wisdom. What is that mantra? The mantra of the wisdom of emptiness, that things are all empty of true existence. Mantra of perfection wisdom, the first step. You first try to understand what it is. The mantra of the great knowledge, meaning that so we in the actual mantra, Tyatha Gade Gade Para Gade Para Samgade Bodhiswa. There are 5 things indicated there. Tyatha, what then? Limala. Tyatha. They say the Tatyatha. Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, we actually read it as Tatyatha, and Tibetans read it as Tyatha. Okay. Tatyatha means here is thus. Finally, in essence, what should we be doing? How to wake up from the sleep of ignorance? What's the process like? How to finally say enough is enough to the suffering. How to stop it altogether? Here is it. Here is thus. Tatyatha. Gade gade. Go. Paragate, go beyond. Parasangate, go utterly beyond. Bodhisvaha, establish your full awakening. Okay, so we see there are 5. Gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisvaha. 5 of them. These five are the indications of the 5 steps through which we get to the full awakening, where you experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness. The 5 steps. What are the 5 steps? They are the commonly known as the 5 paths to awakening, Buddhahood. What are the 5 paths? The first one, Gade, symbolizing the path of accumulation. The first path of accumulation. Second, Gade, the path of preparation. Third, Paragade, path of seeing. Parasangade, path of meditation. Bodhiswaha, path of normal learning. Okay, let me repeat it. Gade, the first Gade, path of accumulation. Path of accumulation. Second Gade, path of preparation. Third, Paragade, path of seeing. Fourth, Parasangade, path of meditation. Bodhiswaha, the path of normal learning. Okay, path of accumulation, preparation, seeing, meditation, normal learning. Okay, the 5 paths. These 5 paths are indicated by the earlier lines. Okay, the 5 paths. So they are, you try to correlate them one by one. The first one, the mantra of the professional wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of professional wisdom, this is the first Gade, path of accumulation. The mantra of great knowledge, that is the second Gade, path of preparation. Then the third one, the unsurpassed mantra. Unsurpassed mantra is the Paragade, path of seeing. Then the next, the mantra equal to the unequaled is the indicated by Parasangate, the path of preparation. Then the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, that is a Bodhiswaha, the path of normal learning. So this is how we correlate. Okay, so let's see. Therefore, the mantra of professional wisdom. So this says where you learn what the wisdom is. Wisdom of emptiness, it was the study, reflection, and meditation. And wisdom of emptiness, we can't expect to have the realization of wisdom, the emptiness through simply praying. No, prayers are very important, but that we need to go through study, reflection, and meditation. 3 processes are there in order for one to get to the level of Bodhiswaha. 3 processes. The first one is the wisdom derived through study or learning. Second one is wisdom derived through reflection. Third is wisdom derived through meditation. 3. So the first one, Gate, or what there in the earlier the paragraph said, the mantra, therefore the mantra of the professional wisdom. This says, indicating the path of accumulation, where you build your wisdom of emptiness on the level of the study and the reflection. Study and reflection. Then when you move to the meditation, then comes the mantra of great knowledge. Through the meditation, then you start to feel it. You get a feel of the professional wisdom. That is the mantra of great knowledge, great feel of the wisdom of emptiness, part of preparation. Then unsurpassed mantra, part of seeing, where you are unraveling an experience within you which you never had before. What is that? Seeing emptiness directly. It never happened before, so therefore you now go to the unsurpassed mantra, a mantra which cannot be surpassed by the mundane world, the mental states, unsurpassed by the mundane states. That's a part of seeing, where you see the supramundane reality, emptiness directly. Unsurpassed mantra, part of seeing. The mantra equal to the unequaled. So that is the part of meditation. The part of meditation, wisdom, the mantra here refers to wisdom of emptiness, which is equal to the unequal. What is unequal? Unequal is the Buddha's mind, Buddha's wisdom. Equal to the unequal meaning, so you are now very close to the Buddhahood. That is the part of meditation. Part of meditation which is almost equal to the unequal, which is Buddhahood. So, which is the part of meditation. The mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering here referring to suffering and the subtle stains, including all the stains, referring to the path of normal learning, the Buddhahood. a mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, inclusive of the subtlest of the stains. In other words, the gold mixed with the mud is removed completely, and the gold becomes so manifest, so pure, that it glows without any hindrance. Should be known as truth, since it is not false. This is how one follows the truth of the reality, to remove all the metal dirts, where all the falsity is freed off. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Yatha gade gade para sam gade bodhi swaha. Okay, so here, this is very important. This mantra, whenever we recite this mantra, I remember His Holiness the Dalai Lama, even during conferring empowerments, tantric empowerments, there is a tradition where say some rituals are performed to ward off the evil spirits from the place around you. And His Holiness will say that, oh, why should we have to ward off the evil spirits? Even the spirits, they have to listen to Dharma. Even spirits, they have to change their mind to become Buddha. So instead of that, he prefers to recite the Heart Sutra 3 times. The real evil spirit is your own mental defilements, your own self-grasping ignorance, and your self-centered. This is the real spirit. This is the real demon inside. So by reciting the Heart Sutra, by reflecting on the meaning of the Heart Sutra, the demons inside will be gotten rid of. Once that is done, nothing can stop you. There is no hindrance outside left there. Your mind flows to every atom of the universe uninterruptedly. There is a time when you experience fearlessness, because nothing can affect your mind. There is a time when you experience infinite happiness, because your mind flows so freely with the greatest of the ease without being obstructed by any factors. This is the Bodhiswaha ultimate reality. So now, to paraphrase or to rephrase what we did again, again, Tyatha gade gade para sam gade bodhiswaham. This Om, you want to skip it. And many of the recitations, there's simply recited Tyatha gade gade para sam gade bodhiswaham. You want to include it, then it should help us to remember that final Om. Om, it is constituted of 3 syllables, A, U, Ma. And these 3 syllables represent the body, speech, and mind, the impure body, speech, and mind that we have, and the pure body of speech and mind of the Buddhas. So recitation this should remind us that I should eventually become Buddha by transforming my body, speech, the impure body, speech, and mind into a pure body, speech, and mind. So this should be the reminder for us as we recite Om. Okay, so the 5 parts: part of the accumulation, part of preparation, part of seeing, part of meditation, and normal learning. So first, part of accumulation. What are we trying to do here is we are trying to build the castle of the Buddhahood, build the castle of say the omniscience, part of normal learning, build a castle of infinite happiness, fearlessness, infinite happiness. So build a castle in a conventional sense. When you build a castle, of course, you need all the materials gathered, materials accumulated. So the first part is known as part of accumulation. Materials required for one to have the castle of the infinite happiness or the Buddhahood. What materials are required? The material of the method and the material of the wisdom and the merit. Wisdom and the method, wisdom and the merit. So these 2 are required. These 2 are required in great abundance. So the first step is to gather these materials. So when are you entitled to go for this, gathering the materials or accumulating the materials? Is when you start this journey. What is that journey? What is the journey? This journey is the journey of full awakening, journey of cleansing your mind to make this the seed of perfection manifest. That is the journey. This is the internal journey. It's a mental journey. It's not external journey. And for this journey, when does the journey start? This question. When does the journey start? And I'm sure you agree with me that the journey starts when you have a destination in your mind. When you don't have a destination, there's no journey. Say, for example, they say, I have no plan to go anywhere. I have no plan to go to, let's say, to say the place A, place B, place C, hospital, or whatever. I have nothing in my mind as a destination to go to. I just step out of Tibet house. So what is that? It's just taking a walk. It's not a journey. When does it become a journey? When you have a clear destination in your mind. This is where I'm going to go. This is the place where I should go. Then you take the first step, it becomes a part of the journey. So likewise, when does it become a journey? Gade, go on a journey. When does it become a journey? When you have the destination in mind. What's the destination? Infinite happiness. In a loose sense, infinite happiness. In a technical sense, Buddhahood. When you make a commitment, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this very genuine, spontaneous mind, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, that is technically known as Bodhichitta. Whenever you have a spontaneous Bodhichitta, you have entered this journey, you have started the journey. So you have commenced the journey. Gate has started. So therefore for us, it's so important to generate this bodhicitta every day. Be it superficial, it doesn't matter. So it is through superficiality that we begin any practice. For example, once I was with a friend, and he was practicing piano. And he told me that when he first practiced piano, he was just pressing the keys of the keyboard, pressing the keys, and there's no music coming out. Very random sound comes out. It's noise. It's not a music. And after a while practicing it, initially it's just mimicking your teacher. What your teacher says, you just press the keys. That's it. No music. It's just noise coming out. So it is mimicking. It is only through mimicking that eventually the music will come out. So it is only through mimicking the bodhicitta. Although your mind does not wholeheartedly feel that, it doesn't matter. You just keep practicing it. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. The moment you say this, be it superficial, it doesn't matter. You do it, and eventually, and of course, it must be complemented by the actual two methods to generate bodhicitta. The sevenfold cause of a method and the method of equalizing exchange self for others. These two methods must be followed. By following this and then making commitments on a daily basis, eventually you can feel that your compassion is expanding. You can feel that. And as your compassion expands, you become more and more confident person. Your confidence builds up, and your fears also disappears, fades away. This is so beautiful experience. Okay, with this, now the journey starts. When it becomes very spontaneous, may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Generate this unconditional love for bodhicitta. When it becomes very spontaneous, you have commenced the journey. Gate has started. The first gate, which is part of accumulation. So once you enter into this part of the first part of accumulation, there our job is to accumulate the materials for your destination, Buddhahood. What are the materials? The wisdom. Try to build your wisdom. Try to study, reflect, meditate on wisdom more, and try to practice compassion, generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiasm, and skillfulness, aspiration prayers, then power, and the primordial wisdom. Practice this more. Practice more. In the process, the wealth of the materials for enlightenment is being accumulated. So that is part of the accumulation. So now finally, what is the journey? The journey of cleansing your mind. Cleanse your mind. And this mind will be cleansed only by of course, say the negative force within us, for example, the anger, agitation, craving, jealousy, and sadness, anxiety, all these undesirable mental states are there. Meanwhile, on the other side, Also, the good mental states like compassion. Sometimes we do feel compassion towards others. Sometimes we do feel like, for example, we are all here together. So we're all studying Heart Sutra. So this all virtuous state of mind. Again, there's a different set of the mind, virtuous, and the other are the negative. There are two sides there. And with the study of the Heart Sutra and so forth, then you see that I need to, of the two sides, I need to focus on the virtuous side. That is to remove the dirt. So there's undesirable medicines, they are the metal dirt. And the desirable medicines, they are the gold inside. We will segregate the two and remove the metal defilement and let the gold glow. So that is a job, that's the journey. So because of that, what helps us to remove the dirt? Remove the dirt by the I say negative, the counter force is the virtues. Within the virtues, we say that there are two virtues. One is wisdom and the other is the method or the merit. And which of the two is more important? It says that wisdom of emptiness is the only liberating path. Within the path, there are two: liberating path and the ripening paths. It is the wisdom of emptiness, which alone is the liberating path. So what really liberates us from these mental defilements is the wisdom of emptiness. For example, when you suffer from tuberculosis, you have to depend on the antibiotics. Meanwhile, take good food, take good rest, and also make sure that you take nutritious food and so forth. So these are the factors required, but actually what actually removes the tuberculosis bacteria is the antibiotics. So antibiotic alone is the what removes the bacteria, but other factors are also required. Likewise, what actually removes the metal stains to make the gold inside to glow is the wisdom of emptiness. So wisdom of emptiness is to be practiced. A practice as the liberating path, and as the ripening path, we have to practice all the other aspects of the path. So with this, finally, our focus must be on the wisdom of emptiness, while not the compromising with the other practices. So the wisdom of emptiness, we said there are three. Wisdom of emptiness on the level of the studies and learning. Number two, on the level of reflection. Number two, on the level of the meditation. And some of you may be wondering, what's the difference among these three wisdoms? Wisdom of learning, wisdom of reflection, and a wisdom of meditation. Wisdom of learning is gathering the information. Gather information, and you have no clue whether what you've learned is true or not. You have no clue. Okay, you gather the information. After gathering the information, what is emptiness? Emptiness is the non-affirming negative. Emptiness, what's the benefit? If you practice this, then your mental defilements go away and you become fearless. Okay, how do you know that? No, I learned it from the DFI group. I learned it from there. Are you sure that it's true? I'm not too sure. I have not experienced it. So you have the correct information, but you are not confident in what you've learned. So that is the level of the wisdom derived through learning and studies, the first level. Then whatever you have learned, you subject this to analysis. You analyze this. For example, today if you ask me, what is the famous equation of Albert Einstein? I would say E equals mc square. Okay, are you sure this is the Einstein's famous equation? Yes, I'm 100% sure. But do you know how E equals mc square? How these two sides are equal? I have no clue. I don't know how to derive it. When I was in school, I learned it, mimicking my teachers. That's it. I don't know how to derive it. I don't know the derivation. Whereas a student of physics in college, in universities, they actually derive it. Derive it. It's not just like what I'm mimicking, but they know how E equals mc square. So they gain the confidence. So the first time you get this confidence, that is the wisdom derived through reflection. The first time you get a confidence that, yes, things are all empty of true existence. There's nothing really there. It's all coming from our mind. And as an indication that you get the reflection of as one of the indications is that a tinge of fear can come. Tickling sensations can flow through your body. Cold waves can flow. And goosebumps can come in the body. An extremely tranquil experience, extraordinarily tranquil experience can come in you, which you never experienced before. Should these things happen, because of the understanding that what I'm seeing is not the reality, you are getting very close. The wisdom draws through reflection. But although you do get it, but still it is not spontaneous. You have to put effort. When it becomes effortless, it becomes so spontaneous within you. That happens only through meditation, constant habituation, constant familiarization of this. Then because it's constant familiarization, when it becomes very spontaneous, that is the wisdom draw through meditation. When you move to the wisdom draw through meditation level, then you go to move from the gade to the second gade, part of preparation. And why this is known as a part of preparation? It's because that within the wisdom of meditation, again there are two. One is the conceptual understanding of the wisdom, and the other one is non-conceptual experience of the wisdom. So this concept, initially you have the conceptual experience of the wisdom. This conceptual experience of the wisdom prepares you to see the emptiness directly. So that is known as a part of preparation. This conceptual experience of emptiness prepares you to see the emptiness directly. Why seeing emptiness directly is very important. Seeing emptiness directly is the direct antidote to the ignorance, which is the root of your mental defilements. Your job is to remove the mental defilements. And the direct remedy is the wisdom, which directly sees emptiness, non-conceptually. So the path of that takes us to the next path of seeing, which is represented by paragade. Okay, now you have the antibiotics. You have the direct remedy to overcome the ignorance. You have the antibiotics to overcome the tuberculosis. Oh, what is the meaning of antibiotics? You take it and your tuberculosis is bound to be over. Then you take the medicine today and tomorrow. Take the medicine today, isoniazid, rifampicin, ethambutol. You take these medicines today, and tomorrow you still have the tuberculosis. Then you go to the doctor. Oh, sir, you told me that if I take this medicine, then antibiotics, then my problem will be over. But still have the tuberculosis. Likewise, seeing emptiness directly, part of seeing, that is where you got the antibiotics. The first antibiotics. You take it, the first dose, don't expect that your problem will be over by that. So what should we do for the tuberculosis? If you take the first dose of the medication, your problem is not over. So what's the problem? I hope you all agree with me that we have to take the same medication over and over again for 6 months, minimum 6 months. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Okay, good. This is repeating the same dose over and over again. Repeating the same wisdom of emptiness over and over again is known as meditation. Meditation is not just sitting idly and observing your breath. No, this is just a part of the meditation. The real meditation is the real antidote. Repeat this wisdom of emptiness. Direct realization of the wisdom of emptiness. That realization of emptiness. This we have to repeat it over again. This antibiotics must be repeated over again. Repetition, which is known as meditation. That takes us to parasamgate, part of meditation. If you repeat it for 6 months, what happened? After that, your tuberculosis is the end of the chapter of tuberculosis. No more suffering. You don't learn anymore. No more learning, which is represented by Bodhisattva, where all the mental defilements are removed completely. They will never return again. And your mind, like the gold, glows perfectly well, where no external factors can affect you. you attain the fearlessness. And then your mind flows infinitely with the greatest of the ease. That is the infinite happiness. That is Buddhahood. Bodhi Swaha. Padunoma learning. Okay, with this, continue reading the sutra. It says, Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound professional wisdom like that. This is how one trains in the professional wisdom. Then the Buddha arose. So this is, up to this point, was said by Aravalokiteshvara. And up to this point, this is known as the sutra. There are three kinds. The teachings of Buddha, there are three kinds. One which is the direct teachings of Buddha, where the Buddha verbally taught. Second is where the Buddha blesses the individuals, and then they speak. Then number three is the teaching of the permission kind. There are three kinds, where somebody is okay, now you speak on my behalf. You speak on my behalf, and then you speak. You speak, and whatever you said, the people will take that as the words of the teacher. So here there are three kinds of teaching. One, the direct teachings of Buddha. Second, the blessed teachings of Buddha. And third one is the permission teaching of the permission. Three. Of the three, it says that this teaching, Heart Sutra, we say is a dialogue between the Shariputra and Aravalokiteshvara. This is a dialogue, but it is taken as literally, it is taken as the teaching of the Buddha, for the reason that this is considered as the blessed teachings of the Buddha. Blessed. Because the Buddha blessed initially. Initially it says, Buddha blessed, yeah, bet, yeah, kola. Chula marda. Bad, yeah, Sharim, Heart Sutra, Heart Sutra, say, well, Gogola. Okay. Oh, yeah. It says, that's Satan. Thus they heard one time, the Buddha was dividing on the mass of vultures, Mount Rajgriha, together with the great community of monks and the great community of bodhisattvas. Okay, now let us see what the Aravalokiteshvara is doing. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. This is what the Buddha is doing. And then the Shariputra, Aravalokiteshvara. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Aravalokiteshvara, looked upon the very practice of profound illumination, wisdom, and beheld those five villages as empty of inherent nature. Okay. Then the next line says, then through the power of the Buddha, meaning the Buddha blessed by the power of the Buddha's blessings. Through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Is simply what the Buddha blessed the Shariputra. And Buddha was outwardly, we see the Buddha absorbed in meditation. For the ordinary people, there's no communication happening between the Buddha and Shariputra. But the realized beings can see that there's communication happening. The Buddha is blessing Shariputra to ask all these questions. So, because of which, the questions asked by Shariputra, the responses coming from Aravalokiteshvara as blessing from the Buddha, because all these teachings are categorized as Buddha's own teachings. Buddha's own teachings in the class of the teachings, the blessed teachings. Okay, so with this, we also see towards the end where we left Shariput, the Harsu mantra. Okay, then the Buddha arose from that concentration, from that meditative concentration, and commanded the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravalokiteshvara, saying, so look, on the one hand, the Buddha is absorbed in meditation. On the other hand, the Buddha was aware of all what is going around, which means in the absorption, in the meditation of ultimate reality, access to the ultimate truth. And being aware of what is around, that is the conventional truth. So the Buddha has access to two truths simultaneously. From their concentration, and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara. Well said, son of the lineage. So commanded Aravalokiteshvara by the Buddha, saying that what is said, the response that he gave to Shariputra is so well, is perfect. It is like that, one should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated, even that the Tathagatas rejoice. So this is how somebody has to practice the perfection of wisdom. This is what makes all the Buddhas, the Tathagatas meaning the Buddhas, happy to rejoice in this practice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharidvatiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras and Gandharvas, who were overjoyed and highly praised, that's spoken by the Buddha. Okay, so that all those as entourage of the Buddha, they were so happy that the Buddha commented on the teaching given by Arya Avalokiteshvara, indicating that what Arya Avalokiteshvara taught actually reflects the Buddha's own teachings and reflects the intents of all the Buddhas. This completes the Arya Bhagavati Prasnaparamita Hridaya Sutra. Okay, so with this we finish the part on Heart Sutra, and now what we do is that okay. What we do is that we will do a quick meditation emptiness. And since that I know that most of you are already exposed to emptiness meditation, some way or the other, studies, reflection, we'll do a quick meditation emptiness together. And after this, I will invite some questions. Okay, so this meditation emptiness is going to be a guided meditation. And if you are totally new to this meditation, no need to worry. Just follow the instructions and don't try to correlate. Don't try to correlate with what I'm saying now, with what I said earlier, what you learned from somewhere else. Don't do the correlation at this moment. And if you want to do the correlation, yes, you can afterwards, not now. So here is the meditation. Just focus on what is being instructed. And if you get some sense of this meditation, and if you think that you can follow this meditation on your daily basis, that's the best. This is how it is like taking the medication to remove the tuberculosis bacteria. Likewise, by doing a meditation on a daily basis, will gradually make you more stable and prepare you to remove the mental agitation. So for this very helpful practice. Okay. And this is going to be, of course, I think last year or 2 years ago, for the same, the Dhamma Friends of Israel, DFI, what we did is that we already did again meditation emptiness. We did that. So the meditation emptiness can be done in various forms. So what we're doing is, here is the 5-point meditation emptiness, which is a very simple one. And this 5-point, in fact, I formulated that to make things easy for others. Okay, so the 5 points. The first one is the self. Second point, 6 elements. Then the third one is 2 questions. Fourth one is the meditative, a space like emptiness in a meditative state. Then the 5th one is the illusion-like emptiness for the post-meditative state. Let me repeat this. First, the self. Number 2, the 6 elements. Number 3, the 2 questions. Number 4, space like emptiness in the meditative state. And then next, the illusion like emptiness in the post-meditative state. These 5. And before we go to meditation, I would like to quickly just give instruction as to how we're going to do that. And then in the actual event of the meditation, just your job is to follow instructions. The first, the self, it simply means, just see simply means, how does the self appear to you? Self, which is so important to you. How does the self appear to you? Like a dream, subject real or object real? And we say, of course, it's so object real there. So remember, just have a very vivid recollection of how the self appears, number one. And then you subject the self to ultimate analysis into the 6 elements. And earth, the solid part, like the skin, the fatty tissues, then the skeleton, then heart, lungs, all the solid parts, which comes to element of earth. Then the water, the 6.5 liters of, no, 4.6 liters of blood in a body, that is the element of water. Then the element of the fire, 2,500 joules of energy, or 2,600 joules of energy, that is your, say, element of fire, the body heat. And then the element of air, the element of air, again, is about like 4.6, 4.8 liters of air, which you breathe in and out through your lungs, element of air. The element of space, our body is made of 99.99% of our body is made of space. And finally, the element of consciousness, which means your mind and consciousness. So the just subjecting the self to the ultimate analysis, and you, instead of seeing the self, you come to see just the 6 elements. Next, 2 questions. Number 3, 2 questions. The first, okay, what are you seeing? First question, what are you seeing? I'm seeing just the 6 elements. Question number 2. Where is this self which appears so objectively real? Where is this self? Answer is, it is nowhere to be seen. I discovered that it is nowhere to be seen from the object. It is there subjectively. You're not looking at the self through conventional analysis. You are looking at the self through ultimate analysis. In the ultimate analysis of the self does not appear. You see, instead you see the emptiness of the self. So what are you seeing then? I'm just seeing that this self, first, the two questions. First one, what are you seeing? I'm just seeing the 6 elements. Where is the self? Second question, where is the self which appears as so object real? It is nowhere to be seen from the object anymore now. This is my amazement. This is what I discover. Okay. Stay in this experience. Stay in this experience that the self is like a space. Stay in this experience. This is number 4. Space like emptiness in a meditative state. Then from there, you gradually arise from this, and you see that again the self comes back. Again, the self appears to your mind. From the object is 100% sure that it is empty. Now it appears to the subject. It's subjectively coming, objectively empty. So subjective coming means it's like illusion. Illusion like emptiness in the post-meditative state, number 5. Okay, these are the 5 steps that we're going to follow to meditate on emptiness. Ready? Okay, first we take 3 deep breaths to just stabilize your mind, to calm down your mind.
You want to make noise, maybe go elsewhere, cannot. I'm doing meditation here.
Okay. So first, we just take 3 deep breaths to calm down our mind. Just take in a deep breath and release it. Release it completely 3 times. Okay. Ready for the emptiness meditation? We will incorporate the 4 seals. We'll do this emptiness meditation as a part of the 3rd seal, while incorporating all the 4. First, the 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. But think about impermanence, impermanent reality of the world. What the world was like when you were 5 years old, 6 years old, 10 years old, and what it is like today. Such a difference there. what might be the world 2,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, 200,000 years ago, early men, just like wild animals. All what is present today, they're all just missing then. And where are those people today? Nowhere to be seen. They're all gone. What about those people 1,000 years ago? No one to be seen. What about those people who are 100 years, 200 years ago? No one to be seen today. What about those people 100 years ago? Perhaps 10, 20, 30 of these people are left. Otherwise, all are gone. What about the people today? 7.8 billion human beings today. What about these after 100 years? Again, just a handful of them will be left. What about after 200 years later from now in the future? Guaranteed not even a single person will be left then. This impermanence is very scary though. And this short span of time of our existence on this earth, we are so attached to my country, my wealth, your wealth, and so forth. We fight. We don't know how to live peacefully. Extremely hard, extremely sad. It's all driven out of ignorance that we continue to accumulate so much of negative karmas with so much hatred, jealousy, and so forth. What will happen? All contaminated things are suffering nature, the second seal. Contamination of hatred, jealousy, attachment, and so forth. All related to the self-grasping, ignorance, seeing things as real, failing to see the dreamlike phenomena as dreamlike, seeing them as so objectively real, that will only end us up into the lack of freedom, which is miseries. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. What kind of suffering? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, and so forth. Yes, that's very true. And in fact, believe it or not, one moment of such misery is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of merriments, festivities, celebrations, birthday parties, and so forth. Everything simply shatters as meaningless, so shallow and hollow. Yes, and when will this stop? It will never stop on its own. 2020, 2021 stopped on its own. What about these miseries? They will never stop on their own. There are three kinds of impermanence. Some, they stop invariably. Say your youth stopped invariably. When you were 10 years old, you were so healthy. Today, that youth is gone. It stopped invariably. There's second category, which never stops. Impermanent phenomena, but never stops. Like your mind, like yourself, the person, the mind, and so forth. Never stops. Even the atoms, never stops. There's third category, where you put effort, they'll stop. You don't put effort, they will just perpetuate. Like what? Like your miseries, like your ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, which perpetuates the miseries. How to stop them? Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena arise from the causes. Hetum tesham tathagato hyavata. Tesham chayo niruta. The cessation of this as well is taught by the great seer, the great enlightened one. How to stop these, the cause of the self-grasping ignorance, is also taught by the Buddha. How? Wisdom of emptiness. What is the wisdom of emptiness? The wisdom, by the very definition, is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What is the reality? Reality is the reality of the emptiness of being independent and real. How do you know this? Okay, now it takes us to the emptiness meditation. Okay. So where all the problems are there, this self is involved, he's unkind to me, COVID is bad to me, and I'm not getting promotion, my family is suffering, I feel health, I have this problem, somehow on all the problems, this self is involved. And we see the self so real, object real. Okay, of the 5 points, first point, the self. Just observe what the self is like. And also, see how this stuff appears to you. Like a movie being projected by the projector, or no, not at all. It's so independent there, not like a dream, not like a movie. How does this stuff appear to you? As so independent there, not like a movie, not like a dream. Okay, let's not forget this. As to how this stuff appears to you. Next, the 6 elements. Knowing how to subject the self to ultimate analysis, let us subject the self to ultimate analysis. Subject self to ultimate analysis, we go too close to the object, too close to the self, or we see that it is nothing but made of 6 elements. Just imagine, say, the ultimate analysis such as the electron microscope. We look at the self through the electron microscope. Okay, first we see a very thin layer of the skin. But if it's not the self, just ignore this. Behind the thin layer of the skin is the fatty tissues. Of course, that is not me. Behind that, the flesh, the muscles, and the cartilages. This is not the self. Behind that, the whole skeleton, the heart, the lungs, the liver, pancreas, kidney, and so forth. Nothing of this solid part is me. Yes, that's for sure. In other words, nothing of the element earth, the solid part. Element earth is not this person. That's true. Element water, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart, which past the body. Of course, that just flows in the blood vessels. I don't flow in the blood vessels. Of course, the element of water is not also me. Element of fire, the body heat. Yes, it's not me. People from distance can see me. They cannot feel my body heat from distance. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that I breathe in and out through my lungs. Of course, that is also not me. I don't go into my lungs. Element of space, 99.9% of the body is space. But I'm not a space. Space vacuum in nature. I'm a solid person. Even the space also not me. Element of space not me. What is left now? Only the consciousness left. Element of consciousness or the element of mind is left. And when there's consciousness of mind, is not me, because I'm a male, I'm a female. This consciousness does not have the gender. Gender is posited on the basis of my body. And also, people cannot see me people can see me from distance, but people cannot see my mind or the consciousness. So therefore, even this consciousness or the mind is also not me. Keep them aside. Okay. Now, point number 3. The two questions. First, what are you seeing now? I'm just seeing the 6 elements. Second question, where is the self which appeared as so object real? Where is it? No way to be seen. In the eyes of ultimate analysis, no way to be seen. If something is not existent in the eyes of ultimate analysis, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It simply means it doesn't exist objectively. Okay, it is nowhere to be seen in the eyes of ultimate analysis for sure. Stay in this experience that nowhere to be seen. This known as the non-affirming negative. That self is nowhere. This self is nowhere to be seen in the eyes of ultimate analysis. Non-affirming negative of this, the emptiness of the self. Stay in this experience. And this is not what you're inventing. This is what you're discovering. This is a discovery. This is what existed as the reality even before the Buddha became the Buddha. This is a reality which cuts across all the phenomena at all 3 times in all space. This is the point number 4, which is the space like emptiness in a meditative state. Okay, now slowly come out of this meditation. Imagine that you're coming out of this meditation. Okay, there's somebody who's coming out of the meditation. There's a self who comes out. Okay, you are 100% sure that from the object there's no self there. But it appears to me, yes, it appears. It appears means it appears to a subjective mind. It's purely what comes to your subjective mind, not from the object. It's purely from the subject. The subject real. So real means like an illusion. Illusion is what comes to your mind, not really from the object. So therefore, this is step number 5. Illusion like emptiness in the post-meditative state. Okay. Slowly come out of this meditation. Good. Okay, good. Now we have another 6 minutes. I'd like to invite some questions. Raise hands if you have questions. Okay, Shahala.
Thank you very much, Geshe, for the teaching, and thank you very much for caring for the group. It is much appreciated. Earlier, when we spoke about the verse from the sutra, we said that things are not produced naturally, but they're produced by causes. And you mentioned mind as a cause, like for the flower, the water, the seed, and also the mind. So my question is, when we speak about an imputing mind and an imputation, independent arising, so imputing mind is a cause and imputation is a result?
Thank you, Shahla. Okay. Shahla's question is very good. Anavattapta Sutra, Madhuvishivito, what is produced through condition is unproduced. They do not have the nature of production. What depends on conditions is said to be empty. Whosoever realizes emptiness is conscientious. Okay. What depends on conditions is said to be empty. What depends on what depends on the conditions. And the condition here, there are so many conditions. For example, say during the teaching, I need some energy. So I have this juice here. And this juice, how this comes here? This is usually we don't think about this. Of course, small children, they don't think about this. And even the elders, they don't think about this. For example, one time, this is so important. It's not just the emptiness concept, but this is so important to think about the dependent origination. The vast net of dependent origination. It's like a net connected to each other. One time, the father was taking a small child, his very young son, small child, and the cow passes by, and the father tells the child that the milk that you're drinking, it comes from the cow, this cow. And this son, the young child said, no, that's not true. And I'm sure you'll all agree with me. The child said, no. Very confident, the child says, no, it doesn't come from this cow. And the father says, yes, it comes from this cow, from the cow. And he said, the child says, no, it doesn't come. Then the father asks, where does it come from? Then if it doesn't come from the cow, then where does it come from? He said, it comes from the bottle. It comes from the bottle. Because he always sees it, say the mother, father bringing the bottle milk is in the bottle. And the bottle, he knows that it's come from the shopping malls. So they do not have this, they do not know. In the shopping mall, how did it come in your house in a bottle? How? From the shopping mall. How did it come to the shopping mall? If you keep asking this, you will see millions, billions of interconnectedness, dependence on the conditions. That things, one thing, simple juice that I'm enjoying here is all because of the kindness of billions of beings. So in fact, somehow directly many of them died because of this preparation of this, to make this come on my table. We should be feeling so grateful to all these people. Many people died. We don't know how many people died for this. So the fact is that yes, it comes from all these different factors, plus your mind, which projects it. And again, how mind? It is a juice there. Yes, it's just a bunch of atoms. Say it's a bunch of carbon atoms, hydrogen atoms, oxygen atoms, maybe some nitrogen and calcium. That's it. And even these atoms, they are made of electrons, protons, neutrons. That's it. But it's a juice. None of the atom is juice. But you look at it, you see a juice. It's a perception taking place. That perception, where it is taking place, is known as conventional analysis. So this conventional analysis is responsible for you to see the existence of the juice. That's it. So your mind is responsible for that. So your mind is the one which projects, imputes, and what is imputed is the object. So now these two cause and effect? Are these two cause and effect? Your mind is the cause, and what is projected as the effect? Okay, answer is not always the case. Then what about your mind? Is it called condition? Condition, technically speaking, condition, cause, these two are synonymous. So here the condition is in the sense that it's a factor. It's a factor dependent upon which the juice comes into being, the object comes into being. And this factor, okay, this is very important. This factor can be simultaneous with the object. This factor can precede the object. This factor can follow the object. In other words, the mind is a condition which is responsible for giving rise to this object, the juice here, object. This mind can precede the object, this mind can be simultaneous with the object, or this mind can follow the object. To give an example, let's say, okay, today the weather is so hot. Today the weather is so hot. Today's weather and today's mind which imputes it. These two are simultaneous. And let's say, oh, my past life. Oh, I must be a librarian. I must be a librarian. If there's any librarian here with you, I'm not offending you. Please don't take it as offense. Oh, I must be a librarian in my past life. Since my childhood, I was so keen on getting hold of books, but I'm not keen on reading books. I must be a librarian in my past life. So here, my mind today is a projected mind, and my past life is projected object. So the mind which projects comes later, and what is projected came before. And we say that, okay, most likely next life I will be a girl. Most likely. So in this life, most likely is early in my childhood, I was so fond of pink colors. So maybe next life, who knows, I may be a girl, right? Next life. Again, my mind today is a projected mind, and next life is a projected. So my mind, the projected mind, the subject precedes the object. My mind projecting the past, the subject follows the object. My mind projecting today, the subject and the object, these two are simultaneous. So this is how we have to keep in mind. If that is the case, then how is it referred to as condition? Condition here is not to be taken literally as a condition which is synonymous with the cause. In fact, there's what is known as the namesake cause. Namesake cause. For example, say namesake result. You practice the wisdom emptiness, you will get the result in the form of the cessation of suffering. Cessation of suffering as the result. But cessation of suffering is never a result, it's a namesake result. It's not a real result. Result should necessarily be composite phenomena. And cessation of suffering is not a composite phenomena, it's a non-composite phenomena. So it's a namesake result. Likewise, say the mind in that case, say the mind the mind projecting the mind which projects the future, my future life. I project my future life. So there, the projector came before what is projected. And my past life, when I think of my past life, I'm projecting the past life. So what is projected precedes the projecting mind. The object precedes the mind. So mind is not the mind does not is not what precedes the object. Mind follows the object. In the case of you projecting the past life. So here, this mind is still referred to as a condition because it's a factor dependent upon which the past life comes into existence. Okay, this is how we understand it. Shahala, you have a follow-up question? Okay, thank you, Shahala. Okay, more questions? Okay, Dorov. Doran. Okay, Doran.
Thank you, Geshe, for some conceptual realizations that I received. I'd like you to tell me more about the connection between the three ways to describe emptiness, as emptiness meaning lacking of inherent existence, dependent arising depending upon the conditions, etc., and merely imputed. What is the relation between the three?
They're imputed, dependent arising, and lack of true existence, and so forth. How they're all related? How would you find the correlation? This is a very good question. Thank you. And okay, by the way, before I respond to Doron's question, I just wanted to know how many you are how many you don't want to suffer? Raise hands. Oh, every one of you. And I want to know more. I want to know how many of you are serious in raising your hands. How many of you are serious in not really? I mean it. I don't want to suffer. Raise hands. If you raise hands for the second question, I'm very serious. There's no way other than to study emptiness. You have to study emptiness. If you don't study emptiness, if you don't reflect on emptiness, if you don't meditate on emptiness, there's no way by which you can have a genuine freedom from sufferings. That's 100% sure, right? You go to any teacher, thousands of Buddhas come to you, they bless you, right? They bless you. The whole your house, environment, everywhere is filled with the blessed flowers for you. Emptiness never come to your mind till you put effort, right? So this expression, God helps those help themselves. So we have to put effort ourselves. We have to study. Only then we can expect to get rid of the miseries, without which it will never happen on its own. Okay. And this is Jordan's question. This is a huge question, very important question. If you're very serious, we have 2 months window. 2 months window. 2 months window known as the Nalanda certificate course, meant to take you to the Nalanda master's course for your extensive studies on emptiness. So I'll be most happy because these 2 months, the 2 month certificate course is created just to accommodate those people who otherwise will be left out the next 5 years before they join the Nalanda master's course. So for them, not to feel that okay, we are like dejected or we are like abandoned. So we don't get any more possibilities, more chance, opportunities. So for those people, we create this window, 2-month special course, which would allow you, only then you allow you to get into the Knowledge Master's course. Okay. So with this, I would say that the answer that I'm going to give you now, I don't expect you to, wow, that's very profound. But if you stay for the next courses, now the master's course, no doubt you'll get a good impression, good understanding of what emptiness is, for sure. Because not because of any other reason, because the text that we're going to study is extremely, extremely succinct and very precious, but the amazing enlightened being Acharya Chandrakirti and a commentary by Lama Tsongkhapa. Okay, so back to the main question is that, let's say the imputation, and then the dependent arising, then the emptiness of true existence. And so how do you correlate these? So it is like, say the same. It is like the two sides of the same coin. Two sides of the same coin. When you subject the conventional analysis, you see dependent origination. Okay, that the self exists, the flower exists. Flower exists by dependence on the various causes. Flower exists by dependent arising. And the flower exists, but depends on these factors. Then the mind imputes, imputation. Flower exists by imputation. Flower exists by dependence on other factors, such as the petal, the color, the light, and the stem, the pistil, and so forth. But depends on these factors, dependent arising, also dependent on the mind, dependent arising, and mentally, by the mind has to perceive it. Mind is imputed, imputation. Okay, because it is imputation, if not imputed, what is there as a flower? Empty, emptiness of flower. So without the imputation, what is there? Independent of the imputation from the object, was there? Empty. That is the emptiness. You look at from the subject, it is there through imputation. It is there through dependent origination. From the subject, it is there by imputation and by dependent origination. From the object, it is empty. So these two are the two sides of the same coin, like saying that, okay, this flower, say this flower close to Doran, this flower close to Doran, and I rush coming here, I rush and say that, oh, this flower is mine. What is meant by that? It simply means it is not yours. I can put it two ways. This is not yours. It's very offensive. Whereas if I say, oh, this is mine, it's not as offensive, but it means the same. It's not yours. So likewise, when you say the flower is dependent arising, it means it is not independent, empty of independence, emptiness. When you say the flower is imputed, besides imputation, if the imputation is taken away, what is there from the object? Nothing is there from the object, is empty. So it is the two sides of the same coin. So when you look at from the omniscient side, you are subjecting the ultimate analysis. You are seeing the dependent origination, imputation. You are looking at through the conventional analysis. Good. Thank you. Next question. Okay, no question. Okay, Doran, next question.
How can a mind impute itself?
How does the mind impute itself? This is again a good question. Let's say that okay, Doran is thinking person. Now my mind is imputing your mind. Doran is a thinking person. Doran thinks well. He has a good thinking mind. Who's saying this? I'm saying this. What's the object of this? Doran's thinking mind. That is imputed by my mind. This is how the mind imputes each other. Good. More questions? Okay, Ben.
Geshe-la, I have a question.
Before Ben asks a question, Shahala, Leorala, and all of you. So by the way, Ben, I would highly recommend you to be connected with Shahala and the team, if you are not connected thus far. Okay, Ben, yes.
Thank you, Geshe-la. My question is regarding the practice. When we do the daily practice, if we do the Bodhichitta practice and the emptiness practice. And many times after the Bodhichitta practice, I feel that my mind is very tired. And then many times I don't do the emptiness practice after the Bodhichitta practice because I'm tired. So is it okay to do it before the Bodhichitta practice, like as a part of the 4 seals, or is it better to do it always after? Thank you.
Okay. This is a good question. Thank you. So yes, we have the set like a model of meditation, of the four points: single point meditation, renunciation meditation related to 4 seals, Bodhichitta meditation, and the emptiness meditation 4. And the Ben's question is, for the emptiness meditation, when you do after the Bodhichitta, it makes you very tired. So you cannot do that. That's very true. From how you are putting it, I can sense that you are actually meditating. Yes, when you actually meditate on it, it's very tiring. Even emptiness per se, if you meditate on emptiness for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's very, very exhausting. It consumes your energy. Initially, you may not be aware of that. And later on, you'll be aware of that, that you feel a little lethargic, heavy. That's very true. And the Bodhichitta practice, likewise, it requires, if you do it at the well, it consumes lots of energy. And then the next moment for the emptiness, you just even think of, okay, now meditation emptiness. Somehow you know that emptiness meditation consumes lots of energy, and the Bodhichitta meditation already consumes a lot of energy. And then just mere thought of meditation emptiness, it simply makes you, okay, now I don't have energy left. Very true. So what is the best thing to do? So the models that we created, it is not necessary for everyone. Finally, the individuals from your own experience, find these 4 points must be there. We must not miss the 4 points, but the order-wise, don't be too radical. At the same time, you can be flexible. It means that, say, the emptiness meditation, when you do it after Bodhichitta, if you feel so tired, then see if you can keep a break between the emptiness and the Bodhichitta meditation. If you keep a break not for too long. And in fact, I was so fascinated recently. There is one student, and the student is taking a course from the one professor, online, one-on-one course. And it so happened that I was also just watching it. And the professor, a young professor, and so of course, there, the students to pay for this, what do you call it, coaching. The students to pay the teacher. So the professor, has an obligation to teach. And suddenly he would say that, okay, 1 minute break. Then he does not speak. He just remains quiet for 1 minute. And I was so fascinated. For us, 1 minute break is like a joke. For us, even 15 minutes break is too short. For Tibetans here, we have usually this is the hall where people have tea, and in the other hall we have the class. And 15 minutes, and then we call the people, 15 minutes, nobody comes. 15 minutes is too short. And then 20 minutes, 25, we already start the next class. And still somebody has to go to this place and call the people there. Even 20 minutes is too short. So what I'm saying is that that this professor, he just remained quiet for 1 minute. I don't know how this 1 minute helps him to rejuvenate the energy. And instant, after 1 minute, he starts. That's amazing. I don't know if any of you know about such things. Okay, so what I'm saying is that, yes, you rejuvenate. Give short break, and don't be over-enthusiastic, because if you do that, being very over-enthusiastic, oh, this is the only time that I have, I'll do everything within it. No, feel free to break the sessions. You can break the session into 2. And this is wisest. Keep a short break. Whereas if you don't really have time, then the best thing is try to somehow adjust. Say the way and the manner in which you are saying 4 seals, the 3rd seal, everything is the nature, emptiness, selflessness. So there, that just make it suffice for the meditation emptiness. 3rd seal, where you can do this a little more, take more time, and that should suffice the meditation emptiness. That's perfectly fine. Okay, Ben, thank you. Okay, more questions? Okay, if you don't have questions, then we will stop here and do the end direction prayer. Long change. Okay, we'll do the end direction prayer, and while our program coordinator is looking for the screen sharing the part, let us just mentally reflect on the following points. The first, let us pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. Let us also pray that the teaching on the wisdom of emptiness and the teaching on Bodhichitta thrive in the minds of all human sentient beings. And let us pray that all these learning centers, such as the learning centers, the real learning centers, particularly the academic and the practice-oriented learning centers, such as Sera, Debun, Ganden, from all the traditions of Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, Gilog, from the Theravada tradition, from the Chinese tradition, and from all traditions, may they thrive in the activities of the study, reflection, and the meditation of the wisdom and bodhicitta. And let us also pray that all these learning, the centers such as the Dharma Friends of Israel and all the centers, let us pray that all the people who are connected, who volunteer for these centers to work, may they have good health, may they have happiness, may everything in their family goes well, and that so that they can continue to serve these centers for the benefit of all the people in your country and everywhere in the world. Let us pray that all unnecessary wars, all these conflicts in the world, on the international level, on the national level, in the communities, in the family, all these, say, the harms, including wars, they stop, and people finally get the fresh air of relief, peace of mind, in the spirit of dialogue and compassion. With this in mind, let us recite the praises here. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri in Samadhi too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas who appeared in 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not arisen and rise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the beholding the Dharma of the teaching realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, purview, and the 2 stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. By the power of practicing and supplicating to you, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflicts, and may Dharma and the auspiciousness proliferate in all the places where we abide. The path to unity, emptiness, and compassion is lucidly explained by the protective Buddha, Dharma, and the beings of the land of snows. You are the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of three jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may could attain the state of Vajratara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origins in particular, even across my life. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Thank you, Shahala. Thank you, Tomerla. Thank you all in the team of the Dharma Friends of Israel, and also the Leora Kenneth, and each and every one of you. Thank you. It is a great joy to see all of you here. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you very much for
Thank you,
this
Geshe.
teaching. Thank you for supporting and guiding us for so many years. Thank you, Tibet House, for enabling this teaching. Thank you for allowing so many people to enjoy it. And of course, thanks for all the participants on which this teaching is also dependent. Thank you for being here, and I wish to see you in many other teachings in the future. You can watch the recording on YouTube, and of course, if you'd like to practice generosity, you can give donation to the teacher and to the continuation of our activities. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Hello, just late.
Bye-bye.
I have a small
Thank you.
as Geshe already told us about the NCC, like it's a Nalanda certificate course in Buddhist philosophy. I just want to add a little bit more, that the registration period for this course is already open, and it will remain open until 3rd June of this year. So as I've already sent all the details in our chat box, so you can just have a look. And if you need more details, please log into our website, which is tibethouse.in. I repeat, tibethouse.in. Thank you everyone for joining this session. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
תודה רבה לכולם.
רבה, תומר.
תודה רבה.
תהיה שבת שלום.
שבת שלום, תודה רבה.
再见。